Eagle fans. Boy, am I excited about today's video and every video upcoming that I can see on the horizon. First thing though, I'd like to state that our first egg watch will begin between February 5th to February 15th. That's the earliest to the latest dates that we have tracked for our eagle's first egg. And that is just 14 to 24 days from today, January 22nd. So we could see first egg as soon as about 2 to 3 weeks from today. Our ground observation crew has been very busy collecting photos, videos, and observations from the territory. And I've got to tell you, it's just stunning. So you know Terry, you know Mike now, and over the next few days, I will introduce 2 more members of the ground crew, Sue and Maureen. Now, you may have seen their work on the Friends of the Reading Eagle Facebook page, but I will be highlighting their work in an upcoming video. Today, we are concentrating on the subject matter of juvenile, immature, and subadult bald eagles that have been in the territory. On January 8th, Terry saw a juvenile bald eagle in the nesting territory and took still images. And on that same day, January 8th, Mike saw an immature eagle and got some still images and video. Let's start with Mike's encounter with the immature, but to really tell the story from the beginning, which it needs to happen, let's start with Mike's video of Liberty eating and standing on a gravel bar by the river. Just a momentary interjection as you watch this. Those are all turkey vultures surrounding Liberty, but notice the distance that they keep away from her. They would love what she's eating, but they know the pecking order and they know what's up. So that's why they all stand back. Here, after Liberty finishes eating, she washes up and maybe takes a few drinks of water. This next encounter and series of images, followed by a video, I consider to be quite stunning. You will see an immature bald eagle come and land within a few feet of Liberty. We do not, in my opinion, see Liberty make any sort of defensive or aggressive posture as this eagle lands right next to her. So let me address something very quickly, because I know the questions will come up. Is this one of Liberty's offspring? The truest answer is none of us know, because none of Liberty's offspring have ever been banded, so we can't track them. The next obvious answer is it could be one of Liberty's offspring, and it might not. By the behavior of the eagles, which I always like to check the behavior of the juvenile and the adult together, I like to help to form an opinion in that way, but still I don't know. So with those disclosures out there, let's look at what actually happened. Liberty is on the far left of the picture, exactly where she was when the immature eagle landed. And now we see the immature eagle on the far right. It has apparently found something to eat. If it's the same piece of presumably fish that Liberty was eating on, then that eagle picked it up and moved it further to the right, because the position where Liberty was feeding is about where the turkey vulture is, near the center of this image. It appears that whether the immature has enough clout, or whether it's Liberty's presence that the immature is feeding without any hassle from the turkey vultures. We also see and notice that Liberty is, again, in my opinion, not acting in any way aggressive towards this immature eagle. In the off-season, outside the territories, bald eagles can often be seen feeding in a high-density group, but we don't often see it back in the home territory near nesting season anywhere as often. Next, we will look at Terry's encounter with Guardian and a juvenile eagle, but I would like you to know that at the end of this video, we will take a look at all of the juvenile, immature, and subadult bald eagles that have visited the territory this year, and we'll show the various stages of their aging. So this is Guardian, and Terry was photographing him in a tree on Liberty's Island, which is in the middle of the Sacramento River, and she noticed him to be quite relaxed when he saw a juvenile eagle and began to trill. This is the juvenile that Guardian saw a short distance away, and you'll notice right away that it is still very dark in its plumage. Its beak is somewhere between dark and becoming a lighter gray. But Guardian, Terry said, was very relaxed and did not seem aggressive towards this eagle. Continued to trill here. And then Terry caught Guardian taking off here, as she said, in all of his glory. And then Guardian proceeded to fly over to, I don't know what the intent was, to either join this eagle or flush it, but Terry again thought that Guardian's actions were not necessarily aggressive. We do see the juvenile leave the area. In this next video from Mike, taken on January 8th, Mike captures the immature bald eagle hunting over the Sacramento River. At the end here, you will see a red-tailed hawk there in the tree at the top. This is an enlargement of one of Mike's photos. Please take a close look at it because we will be using it to illustrate the areas where we will look for age indicators for a young bald eagle, being a juvenile, an immature, or a subadult. I have overlaid some points of interest for aging a young eagle, and this is not definitive nor a master's course, rather it's basic. So the head and tail from juvenile to adult will both trend from darker to lighter, at which time when the eagle becomes an adult, both the head and tail feathers are fully white. The tail feathers will exhibit a band of darker feathers along the lower edge after a couple of years. Now, the beak, which is the maxilla and the mandible for top and bottom, then the cere behind the beak, will trend from very dark as a juvenile to a lighter gray in the first to second year, and then after that will trend towards being fully yellow as an adult. So in the stages from, say, a year and a half to adult at around 5 years, the beak will trend from gray to yellow. The iris, or colored portion of the eye, will trend from brown to yellow, from juvenile to adult. The presence of an eye stripe, if present, is a stage somewhere between age 1.5 and, say, 3.5 to 4 years old. Is just a intermediary stage of the head turning white. The body, breast, covert feathers, flight feathers, and leg feathers may all exhibit stages of being lighter, mottled with white and brown, or brown and white flecks, as some people call it. But the trend will be during the intermediary years from, say, 6 months to around 3.5 to 4.5. There will be a lot of modeling of those feathers, brown and white. But of course, once the eagle gets close to adulthood, all of those body, wing, leg, and flight feathers will trend back to being quite dark brown. So now we come down to comparing and attempting to age the younger bald eagles that have visited the territory this year. We know of at least 4, and none of these eagles are the same. So let me refer to 1A and 1B. This is the youngest eagle of the 4, the one that Terry saw on January 8th. This 1A and 1B are the front and back of the same bird. This bird appears to be a first year, meaning less than 12 months. Now we'll move on, and for the aging the rest of them, I would like to lean on our resident biologists and experts, because I cannot definitively age these without enough experience. So I have placed them in what I believe to be youngest to oldest age. Number 2, which was photographed by Mike around January 1st, has a lot of modeling on the breast and some white feathers on the tail, but really no change to the head feathers, and the beak is still quite gray. Number 3, which was seen January 8th, has a lot of yellow in the beak and cere, has a bit of an eye stripe, a little bit of white in the head, and a lot of white and brown mottling around the body. But you'll notice that the tail feathers lack a high degree of turning white. And finally, the eagle that landed in the nest around November 16th is much more progressed with the white feathers around the head and the tail, and the beak is much more yellow. So I believe that is the oldest of them all. So I think that we have examples of a juvenile, a couple of immature birds, and maybe even a subadult here. Please, if you know your stuff about aging these eagles, chime in with a comment and let us all know. If we end up with a consensus of ages for these birds, we will take a look that if they happened to be offspring of liberties, which year and which names could be possibilities. Thank you for watching, everybody. I've got such exciting stuff to come up, so please subscribe, share this channel if you would, and stay tuned for really great stuff. Be safe and be well, everyone.